What's up, Gator Nation? Zach Abolverdi and Nick Torre here, coming to you live from the Swamp, following Florida's 33-20 loss to Texas A&M. And the game and the result was a lot worse than the score indicated. A&M took a 33-7 lead at one point, dominated the Gators on both sides of the ball. The Gators give up 300 rushing yards on the ground. Their two-quarterback experiment was a disaster, and the future looks bleak right now for Billy Napier and his program, as they are in year 3 and now 12-16 at this time. So we'll get into our rapid reaction from this loss before we do that.
It's not bleak. My new polo from Roback. There's only one way to describe Roback: best fit, best feel. For those who aren't familiar with Roback, they're completely changing the game. Hopefully they can change what we just watched with comfortable active wear. This is a performance polo. It has the swamp all over it. Super, super comfortable. You saw me wearing it on Paul Feinbaum yesterday. We're gonna cut it a little bit short because I know you guys aren't here for this right now, but you can use code Gators Online to save yourself a generous 20% off for all new customers through the end of this week. That's called Roback, RHOBACK.com. 20% off for all performance polos like the one Zach just showed you. Looks much better than what we just watched.
Yeah, for the past few weeks in the 2024 season, I've been doing halftime thoughts, just posting a few quick hitters about my thoughts on the game. Nick, I posted it tonight, and it was just a GIF, however you pronounce it, of it's over, because that's how I felt at halftime and kind of how I still feel now.
Yeah, and I know that people are kind of like looking for us to pile on. I think Billy got asked some tough questions. I asked him, it's a line of scrimmage game. We have 2 offensive line coaches. Have they recruited and developed well enough to compete? He said, if you watch 2 of our 3 games, no. I think it's a resounding no. They're not good enough, and it's almost like we're not piling on because the end seems so inevitable. I don't know. And I said before on our show, if it looked like it did against Miami, I don't know that Billy Napier will be the coach against Mississippi State, and it looked exactly like it did against Miami. And the problem is, and I just wrote this in my 5 thoughts, I believe Billy Napier when he says this is his best team, that this is the best roster of guys they've had in 3 years. And the problem is the other coach who was hired 8 days after you had 3 years to build a roster and kicked your ass. This coach,
first-year coach,
Mike Elko, is not 3 years into his program. He's
3 games.
3 games, and kicked your ass. So to me, it's like nothing I can say to you guys right now, as sarcastic as I am, that's just my nature, speaks louder than what Florida's put on the field. And it's a results business. I like Billy Napier. Think he's a great guy. You probably could tell I wasn't a huge Dan Mullen fan at the end. But
I think you take Mullen back right now.
No, I'm good. I'm good. So it's just what it is. And I kept saying throughout the week that Florida could win 6 games, could win 7 games. And because of the schedule, if Billy got to 6 or got to 7, he would be coaching here next year. I don't know how the math ain't mathing. I don't know how you get to 6 or 7.
Yeah, a lot of people probably want us to talk big picture and what we think happens next. I don't know how much you guys want to hear about the game tonight. Just a quick synopsis of what you saw, Nick.
You're on your 3rd defensive play caller. And this one really stuck out to me because I mentioned, hey, I wonder if this is personal to Jay Bateman. Jay Bateman came here as the linebackers coach, and Billy brought his guy in. Patrick Toney was 31 years old, young, thought to be a rising star.
His kid.
Florida's defense was terrible. Patrick Toney left for the Cardinals. Jay Bateman's sitting there. Obviously has aspirations to be a defensive coordinator because he just coordinated a defense that held Florida to 2.1 rushing yards on the field tonight. Passed over for a 29-year-old Austin Armstrong. Bateman ends up, Mike Elko, who is a defensive coach, but once he became a head coach, stopped calling plays and let somebody else call his defensive plays, tapped Bateman. What did Billy Napier do? He got Ron Roberts, who is the coach that designed the defense for the previous two coordinators, which didn't work. So you're on your third defensive play caller. It's the exact same result. Billy Napier was asked about giving up 310 rushing yards. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that was my question.
I think everybody feels the same.
I also asked him, did he regret not sticking with Mertz in the third quarter when the offense finally had found some rhythm, some success, and they got a touchdown drive? And I know that it was already predetermined what the rotation was going to be and how they were going to alternate series. But at that point, down the way that Florida was down, you got to just go with the feel of the game, in my opinion, and stick with your 6-year senior that clearly you felt like you should have been playing, and he was right, and the fans were wrong because DJ Lagway was not ready for this stage, at least not ready to go against that defense, that skilled of a duo with Elko and Bateman. This was just not DJ's game to roll him out. And Tebow said that all week long to anybody that would listen, that this was not how you wanted to roll out your true freshman phenom in his first SEC game. And DJ competed. He did have a touchdown drive, but this experiment that they tried to pull off did not work out well. I don't know what they do moving forward. If you stick with Graham more so, or if you kind of just go with the feel and only go to Lagway or somebody else if you need a spark. But it did not work. And obviously on the defensive side of the ball, I have to think at some point today or tonight or tomorrow when Napier wakes up in the morning, he'll have to think to himself, why didn't I just hire Jay Bateman? Because the defensive product still looks disgusting, as he said.
Yeah, it's not up to standard. A&M scored in their first 4 drives. 2 of those drives were 92, 99 yards.
The third downs that they gave up to Marcel Reed,
he was
backup quarterback.
Reed apparently found out on Friday that he would be starting today. On his first drive, he was 4 of 4 for 54 yards on third down. He also had the 31-yard rush on 2nd and 21. I don't even know what to say. This is exactly the same defense we saw last year. Which why should we be surprised? The architect of the defense that we saw the last 2 years, called by different people, is now calling plays. My big question now, and maybe I'm reading too much into this. Billy Napier, I forget what question he was asked, but he said, "I told those guys that they have to stick together." And to me, that you tell that to your team when you think it's over for you. Like, hey, I'm not going to be around here. You guys need to stick together. I don't know when it'll happen, but in my mind, it's over. I can foresee a path for him to keep his job. Win out.
Yeah.
I just can't foresee that happening. That's not realistic. The team that Florida has been against Power 4, Power 5, whatever it is,
7 straight losses,
is not good enough. And Billy's nice. We like him. Everyone in the building likes him. He said it today. It's a production business. It's a results business. They're 11-16.
12-16.
12-16. Sorry, I forgot about Stanford.
Don't forget that win.
Yeah, so I think it's we're just kind of like in a holding pattern.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that Florida fans have to continue to go through this because they show up each and every home game ready to cheer, ready to support the team, and they just have not gotten what they deserve. And I'm with you, Nick. I don't know what happens next. I don't want to spend the rest of this video just speculating, but I do agree with you and a lot of other sentiment from Florida fans, which is, as Jim McElwain used to say, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no staying the same. And right now, the Gators are getting worse. And the product on the field, despite all the progress that they've made on the field, that's the one thing you can give Napier credit for. I think he has improved the culture. He's eliminated off the field issues. Gators aren't in the news anymore for stuff like that. But that is not translated to on-field success. And as you said, Nick, I don't know how it will moving forward with this schedule, with the way that they've played in their first 2 games against major conference competition. And I don't know if we'll be covering a coaching change tomorrow as we come to you guys here this weekend, what it'll look like Sunday. If they go into their first SEC road game and see how that goes. But it's
2-9 away from home under Napier too.
But if the Gators get a win in Starkville and then a bye week and then play a UCF team at home that they could beat, does that potentially extend this tenure a little bit longer and give Napier a chance to try and reel off some wins? We will see, but it might not matter. Maybe they'll make the call tomorrow and not give him an opportunity to go win in Starkville and turn the tide. Because, like you said, there is still that possibility, Nick. I don't think anybody expects that.
Yeah, and listen, it's tough.
They could win at Mississippi State and beat UCF though, 100%.
Yeah, but you could win at Mississippi State and still fire him. To me, I don't know. I don't know how you go forward.
I don't know how you can fire him after a win though. That's
it'll be interesting. Obviously, the name everyone's talking about is Lane Kiffin. Just let me throw this timeline at you. Ole Miss is probably a playoff team. The playoff starts December 20th. I'm not saying you keep a coach to keep DJ Lagway, you keep a coach to hold together a recruiting class, but early signing days before December 20th. So if Lane's your guy, you're going to punt this recruiting class like Jeremy Crawshaw, who that defense didn't help out at all today. One was shanked, but 2 punts down inside the 5, down inside the 10.
At least you got something that you enjoyed.
There was nothing to enjoy. You're going to punt the recruiting class. Got to go big on the transfer portal.
Someone does point out that Jimbo got fired after a win, so it does happen.
It's just tough. I feel bad for you guys. We didn't tell fans that Florida had the best defensive line in the country or that Florida was going to be a playoff contender. Thought 6 wins, 7 wins would be good this year, and it's not what we've seen, not what you've seen, and you guys are the ones that are paying to be here to watch it, so feels bad for you guys.
Yeah, and obviously we wish we had some better things to talk to you guys about and write stories off of and cover, but we will keep trucking along here in Gainesville, Florida, as we watch this 2024 season play out for the Florida Gators. Just a terrible start to their home stretch. 0-2 now against these major conference opponents. Now they hit the road for the first time in SEC play. We will see what happens next. We'll see where the Gators go from here on Sunday, on Monday, on the depth chart next week that we won't get, on the injury situation. We didn't even mention that. No Eugene Wilson today. That certainly didn't help things, but I don't even know if he could have made a difference because he doesn't play defense.
He doesn't play offensive line either.
Yeah. So appreciate you guys for tuning in, everyone that's watching this and just frustrated. I feel for you guys. Hopefully we have some better news to bring you in the coming days and weeks. We will stay on top of it as always. For Nick Del Torre, I'm Zach Abolverdi. We'll see you guys for the Gators Online Show.